the resolution, it doesn't go so well. Sounds good? Excellent. Alright, start recording in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys! Another StarCraft game for you this time. This is actually the second community free-for-all, viewer free-for-all, whatever you want to call it. Trying to bring back the community play night that we had way back when I was playing for Pure Talent Gaming. Everybody loved it. Probably one of the really good things that came out of that experience. And I dropped it, but I really need to bring it back. So, officially, we will be doing every Sunday a viewer free-for-all. The moment we hit 8 players in the group Rekatan. So you go down and you got the social. Actually, it won't show it right now because we're in the middle of the game. But you go down to the little group thing, search for Rekatan, you'll find it, join that group, and join the chat. I'm always there anyways, so you can always hang out. And once we get up to 8 people, we will go ahead and make a free-for-all. That's going to be every Sunday. I'm going to shoot for maybe 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern time. If we don't get to 8 players, we'll still start with 6 or more. Alright. On that note, here's our free-for-all. I am the awesome pink Protoss here. Oh, a few rules here. If you're diamond or above, you have to play random. This is to make sure we don't end up with an all-Zerg free-for-all. If you're platinum or lower, you can play your main race, probably Zerg, seeing as that's most of my viewers. So I'll just go ahead and go clockwise here. We got green Zerg, Vampire Milk. We got the blue Zerg, Big Davy B. We got red Protoss Jinx. I actually don't know what the Twitch TV name is for this player. I'm sorry, Jinxa. Everyone else here is a very regular viewer, but that one I don't know what he is on Twitch. We have Strychnine, our teal Zerg, and then we have Amador, our orange Protoss. Alright, so I have never cast a free-for-all before, so this will be fun. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. So we have, for the most part, pretty standard stuff. Actually, this is my first time looking at this from another view. We actually have Strychnine playing really greedy here, going hatch first. Huge gamble given the map, but actually it pays off because he's got a positioning here that's allowing him to take a natural that's actually very safe. We got the red Protoss who's quite a ways away. We got our orange Protoss who's also quite a ways away and most likely to be interested in that third. So that's a pretty cool play by Strychnine. Really using the map to his advantage. Because some of us don't quite have that option. Particularly anyone who's in the middle. Blue and orange seem to have trouble because they have to take this one, which is going to be fought over. Alright, I might cruise through parts of this, but we'll see. Alright, so here's my strategy. That's got to be plain as day. I said, you know what, let's start with a forge. Let's play super defensive. Let's get a pylon up and cannon the crap out of the first gold I find. And here we have it. I'm probably focusing more on defending that than I am on my main. Just because I figure once someone realizes I'm taking this, they're going to try and shut it down and take it from me. So I'd rather be more defensive there when I've got a bunch of probes that can help defend here. And a little bit of strategic building positioning will do the trick there. So not quite as fast as Strychnine's natural, but I am getting a gold out of it, so I'm liking this open for me. Got an Overlord going down. Oh, barely living. And it looks like we've got a little bit of scouting here from Big Davy B. Nothing too terribly exciting going on here. It's a very long replay, so I may cruise forward a little bit till we get to some action. So, sorry guys, but can't do it. Just can't do it. There was another free-for-all. This is actually the second one we've played. But when my computer crapped out on me, I lost it. So I really apologize again to anyone who was in that one. I know I mentioned it in a previous cast, but anyone who was in that, I know I promised you guys it would get cast. No such luck. I do not have the replay anymore. If anyone who is participating in that does have the replay and wants to send it over to me, I will totally cast it, though. Alright. So now we've got a little something going on here, so I'll just slow it back down again. Got Zealots playing a little ring around the rosy. This Finecrawler's going to shut them down. Amador's taking his natural, but right now we have Strychnine way ahead on the expansion timing. It looks like there's a couple kind of odd men out here in the expansion timing. And we've got Big Davy B, who's way ahead on tech, but really needs to expand. And we've got Vampire Milk, who's just playing it extremely safe with all those spines. Free-for-all is one of those awkward situations where the most defensive player oftentimes draws the least attention, but if you can gamble and take your base, get away with it, then you don't necessarily have to be as defensive. You can maybe take someone else's base and get that much more ahead. Especially in a map like this where we have fairly limited bases until we are able to drop into the golds. And this is going to be heavily contested, which is why I figured let's get that mining nice and early so I can mine it out before people can take it with air. Alright, so we got Vampire Milk finally taking a third. Little bit of going back and forth here between Jinxa and Big Davy B. It's going to be tough to get all these names straight. Nothing too terribly special though, so I'm going to bump it back up again. A little bit of combat here between Orange and Teal. But what does Orange know? I bet you he actually doesn't know this yet either. Let's check and see what he sees. Yeah, he actually thinks he's still containing him on one base, so that's interesting. Although those Zerglings running by probably were a dead giveaway if he was looking at his screen at that time. Looking at that location on the map, I should say. I'm sure he was looking at his screen. I'm pretty sure we can put good money on that. Alright, looks like Strychnine's going to hold. And really that natural could go down real easily, but looks like Amador did not quite pick up on the fact that natural had been taken. Very fortunate for Strychnine. Oh, all the while we've got some more combat going on up top. Looks like this natural's going to go down for Big Davy. Which is unfortunate for him. Gentleman's agreement, possibly. Maybe Jinxa just likes killing drones, so he wants it to start mining again. Oh, there we go. All the while, I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable with this. I haven't really been pressured too much. If I recall, I had a little bit of poking around from Vampire Milk, and then he realized how many cannons I had. I'm moving in here, taking out that natural from Vampire Milk. This really was a case where I had a kind of a game plan in mind of take that gold and just shave off a quarter of the map and call it mine. And the way I see it is, if I can take a quick corner of the map, or I should say quick quarter of the map in a 6-player game, then I'm naturally going to be in a pretty good shape. Because that means I won't be one of the 2 people who probably lost their base to make that happen. Alright. So I'm going ahead and getting ready here to take my third. I figure it's pretty healthy timing. Actually, if we take a quick look, I'm actually the quickest third, so that's pretty awesome. I've been in probably the least combat here. Got pretty much a free snipe on that hatchery. Vampire Milk didn't really contest it too much after he saw the blink. But all the rest of the players here, I think, have taken some pretty reasonable losses. Let's see. Yeah, I've taken 0. Next lowest is Red with 725. So a lot of fighting going on. A lot more than you would suspect for early on in a free-for-all. Well, that's good. This map seems like it makes people pretty aggressive, so that's part of why I picked it. A lot of fighting over your natural. Alright, so that mothership core cleaning up. Or I should say getting 1 kill. We'll call that cleaning up. And we got Teal running up the ramp, but just barely being held out by these sentries. These sentries are a little too close. I would say Strychnine actually could go ahead and double back and maybe still get up here, because these are getting real low. But either that or you can go ahead and just take out the Nexus entirely. Really needs a photon overcharge here, but it's going to be just shy of being able to pull it off. We'll see what happens. Doubt that's going to be enough to stop this Nexus from going down. Nope. So down it goes. Teal takes out Orange's Nexus. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to keep the name straight. That's just not going to happen. Vampire Milk's wondering, why me? I thought he was referring to me sniping hatcheries, but I have a feeling he was referring to the fact that he was effectively getting double teamed there. Let's check out our production tab. We got Blue actually going for what looks like potentially a Nidus Swarmhost Infestor play. Really cool here. I was completely unaware of this, but this will be fun to watch. It's one of those deals where the other side of the map, you do not know what's going on. Oh, this is great. I always just kind of think of getting drops for this, but this is actually one area where Nidus is fantastic. Now that I think that I did have to clear that out a bit later on. So I'm ferrying over because I completely walled this off, and I want to get those probes out of there since they're starting to mine this down pretty quickly, and I want to get some more production going on that Nexus. So I'm going ahead and using that as my method of getting the probes out rather than killing the pylon, because I don't want to leave myself open to run by. So this is actually really cool improvisation by Blue, by Big Davy B, after he lost that natural. Pulling himself back in this game by taking both golds at the same time. Oh wow, we got Teal. Sorry, I missed that. We got Teal going ahead and completing that siege of Orange. Finally got up that choke. Was able to get past those force fields. Something tells me this mothership core is not going to be able to do enough damage. If you can get these cannons powered up again, maybe, but well, he's got more than enough minerals to remake the Nexus, so he may still stay alive. We'll have to wait and see. These cannons come in just at the nick of time, and actually 3 cannons can go a long way here if they weren't splitting up their fire. Oh man, it's so important to manually target these. That's going to go down. That's unfortunate. If those had been manually targeted, that pylon would have probably just barely gotten into armor. Up top, we've got Red doing a little DT shenanigans, but Fungal does detect, so looks like Blue's going to be just fine here. Hopefully Blue can get up a couple spores here at that front entrance so he doesn't have to micro every DT defense like that. All the while, we've got Green trying to poke around here. Trying to see if he can shut down my 4th, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm getting pretty aggressive with the cannons. He says that's a lot of warp gates. At this point, I am going real heavy on Stalkers. My thinking is, if I'm going to expand aggressively, I'm going to need high mobility for a nice long time. And here we see my end game. Pure Sky Toss transition. Oh yeah. All the while, Green, I'd say, is probably, well, Orange is in the worst shape, but of players who are still in the game, Green is definitely in the worst shape. He's kind of contained from all angles. I do not see this natural ever going up. I'm going to speed this up a little more again since nothing too crazy is going on here. Orange trying to do something here. I think basically just trying to be annoying and keep a probe alive, which is about all he can do. So he makes a Nexus down here. I'm actually completely, at this time, unaware that he's in such rough shape. I should have noticed the warning, but I was busy doing other stuff. Part of me noticed the Nexus, and I was wondering if he was going to do something cute with a mothership, core. So Orange playing, or Red playing relatively safe, just kind of occasionally poking in someone's natural, seeing if they can keep him slightly behind on economy. Big Davy B actually really needs a queen here on this hatchery. I wonder if he's got one on the other one. No. So actually, these could be both fully saturated if you just got a queen up at each one. Someone was wanting critique of their play, and I can't remember who it was. So, I can't remember who I'm supposed to be critiquing here, so sorry. I'm just going to talk about stuff as it dies. Good enough. I'll have to make a mental note. Alright, looks like Amador's out. So, pretty quick death there. Biggest issue is just natural goes down, but no cannons, or I should say insufficient cannons. I don't recall if there's 1 or 2 cannons maybe, but that's about it. And overcommitment to sentries, no stalkers though. Alright, so we got a big clash here between me and Red. But one of us has Blink, the other does not, and that's a big deal in Protoss versus Protoss. All those force fields not really going to be too terribly amazing. If he had Blink as well, they could maybe help out, but this is not a safe place to go either. It's a lot of swarm hosts and spines to be walking into. So definitely not the right direction. Red's going to lose his entire army. I'm actually curious, what is that supply now? Red drops down to 79 supply. I'm still at 197, pretty healthy. 81 probes, so best economy as well, so I'm having a pretty healthy game here. We got some Dark Templar in here, and it looks like I actually lost my observers, but actually I suppose the stalker that they were following died. So that's a whoops on my part. Taking a ton of free losses here because I don't notice them. So Red's getting a little bit of revenge. I actually clean up Big Davy's swarm hosts here, mostly because I just kind of know how dangerous that can be if they hit max on those swarm hosts. So I'd rather go ahead and get in here and get that count reset. Big Davy B early GG's. We know that's not real. He's feigning. I go ahead and say, okay, you know, whether it's real or not, I gotta get back home. All the while, I got Mutas messing with my base, nothing too bad. Gotta get a warp in here that pushes them away a little bit. And actually, there was quite a bit going on down here with my cannons. Teal took some losses here. Haven't yet started using my Stargates. I didn't necessarily need to build them quite as early as I did. Really need a lot more gas before I'm able to fully switch into those. Alright, let's go up to 2 speed again. This is super long. I don't know how I'm going to cast every one of these free-for-alls once a week. I get too tired, and free-for-alls aren't... I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot of analysis. I'll think about it. Let me know. If you guys like seeing these, I'll keep casting them. If you don't like seeing them, we'll just play them then. Alright, the Ultra's doing a ton of damage here, actually. I do my best to blink back, but missing quite a few blink backs. Finally, I'm able to push through. And my supply stays relatively stable. Still not making use of those Stargates, so those have been very underutilized. I was actually hoping to have a much longer period of time there where I could go ahead and stay maxed, but I kept having to push someone back because they were encroaching on my territory a bit. Can I say I'm territorial in free-for-all? Alright, so big switch into Zealot Void Ray. Pretty healthy change here for red. Got some infestors in here. I'm guessing they just kind of creeped their way in. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't hear another Nidus, so I'm guessing they just burrowed in. At this point, I'm switching over to probably full defense. I got my 5th up. My main is just about to mine out on gas as well. Already mined out on minerals. And I finally recognized that Blue has been working on these gold minerals for a nice long time. And he's getting in as many Zerglings as he can from that Nidus, but unfortunately Zerglings just do not do well coming out of a Nidus. Same exact deployment rate as Ultralisks or Swarm Hosts or you name it, so that doesn't go well. Strychnine shutting down this red base, but he's had that gold for a good long while. Not quite as long as mine, but still been able to almost completely mine it out. And Blue asks, why wreck why? And it's because, like I said, I'm territorial. All the while, it looks like we had a double team for Blue. So he gets cleaned up in his main by the Void Rays, and by me, at his gold by me, the Blink Stalkers, and that's just about it for Blue. But he's going to hole up here in the corner and hope he can hold out. Never know what can happen with free-for-all. We could end up going for mutually assured destruction at some point, and he's the last one standing. Alright, so it looks like Red's actually taking out a lot of people here for me. All the while, I'm able to just sit back and finally transition into some air. Getting some Tempest here first. I felt like Tempest was maybe a better idea than Carrier straight away. Get a healthy Tempest count to keep them pushed back, and then the Carriers can provide a little meat to the army, or to the fleet at that point. Alright, so Red's deciding to get aggressive, decides, you know what? I'm just going to keep on killing. And I like this move on Red's part, especially because it's putting me in a great spot. So it looks like Teal's going to go ahead and GG out. Although all the while I hear another Nidus. I don't know where. Oh, look at that. Just popping in, killing more Teal buildings, but Teal's basically already done. Red's doing a ton of damage here. And this I have to be really delicate. I'll slow this down. This one's an interesting fight. I have to be really careful engaging this one. Void Rays are so scary versus Stalkers. They're even pretty good against Tempest too, because they keep up so well. But once I get rid of this Zealot buffer, that's not too bad of an army to engage, because then the Void Rays are a lot more vulnerable. So just trying to keep up with my Blink Micro, but it's really hard to Blink Micro when they're dying that fast. This is on normal speed. Void Rays are just that damn good against armored units. The moment that, whatever it's called, prismatic alignment, yeah. The moment that kicks in, anything armored just melts. So I lose my entire Stalker ball, and I'm actually down quite a bit, down to 146 supply. So I have to warp in some Stalkers to make sure I have something here to capitalize on the prismatic alignment wearing off. Because that's really the point that I can go ahead and get back into the fight a bit. So the Stalkers decide it's time to get aggressive, and Red has to run away, but he's not going to get too much progress here with Void Rays versus Blink Stalkers. All the while, we've got Blue taking advantage of the opportunity. Decides he's going to go ahead and clean up some tech, clean up some buildings. Fortunately, these Stalkers are going to be able to hold that off pretty well. Surprisingly enough, Blue hasn't decided to do too terribly much with this gold. Maybe poked around, saw that there was a bunch of cannons, but this is wide open in the back. Could have cleared up all those probes. At this point, they may have realized that they need to kill me before they kill each other. Alright, we'll go ahead and go back up to 2 speed here. So Blue's about to mine out. Not a whole lot left he's going to be able to do. Mutas are actually 0-0 too, so he's in a bit of trouble on upgrades as well. Because by this stage of the game, everyone's approaching 3-3. Whoa, those Voids are behind. I guess because Red was so heavily invested in ground for a while. But yeah, at this point, everyone's trying to push their upgrades. I'm at 3-2-3, 3-2-2, so Upgrade advantage definitely for me. And it looks like red's actually running on fumes as well. Just that gold base remaining. Trying to establish something here. But with my army so close, that's going to be an easy stipe. So at this point, red decides it's time to go ahead and engage. Nope, pulls away. Okay, just GG's out. The mutas finally were deciding to go ahead and start taking out some probes, and he decided he was done. So I'm not sure what I'm up against at this point. I've got a ton of gas, so I decided I'm going to start dumping into Archons. Why not? So we got mutas doing some healthy damage here. Finds a bit of a hole in my cannon placement. And I'm not entirely sure where blue's at yet. For the most part, I was unable to really get a good idea of what happened on red's side of the map, whether he maintained control or blue took some of it from him. These probes, completely lazy. I had them set to mine, and they tried to return back, and for whatever reason, they didn't go ahead and take it there. I guess because they had already been told to take it there by the auto-mining. Alright, so I'm looking around trying to find blue. I do eventually find those mutas. And due to process of elimination here soon, I recognize, oh crap, he's in the lower right corner. Hopefully he hasn't built up a whole bunch of corruptors. So I'll go ahead and move this up to 4 speed. Not a lot left to happen here. I will say, as a spoiler, you probably don't want to hear this if I end up casting it, but I actually lost the previous free-for-all convincingly. So hopefully I get a chance to cast it. It was pretty cool. I ended up having to do someone else's dirty work. Basically, ended up someone else's bitch because I didn't want to have to leave the game. So it was an interesting game. Alright, so there we have it. I managed to take the game. A lot of very passive play, kind of a get my corner. I'm only going to attack people who are in my corner. And then after that, I'll let people come to me. Alright, so that's it for the free-for-all. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these cast, or if there's just not enough analysis we can look at for it to be worth it. Alright, thanks for watching.